Hello everybody, it is Emery48 here and welcome back to another Star Wars video. It's May 4th, Star Wars Day, and it's the end of Bad Batch. Finished up at the beginning of May on May 1st, so we're going over the entire Season 3. We start with Episode 1, Confined. Omega is imprisoned, helping Nala Se with some weird blood testing thing. She frees a hound and regularly visits Crosshair, who's in jail. Episode 2, Paths Unknown. Hunter and Wrecker search for Omega at a former Imperial base that has been bombed. They found 3 clone children and a clue for Omega's location. Episode 3, Shadows of Tantus. The Emperor visits the compound, which is very cool to see him. Omega breaks out Crosshair. They escape. Omega is a perfect match for their testing, so Hemlock wants her found alive. Episode 4, A Different Approach. Omega and Crosshair crash land after escaping out of hyperspace. Crosshair and Omega escape after a firefight with Imperials on Laos. They rendezvous with Hunter and Wrecker. Episode 5, The Return. Echo joins the Bad Batch and Crosshair gets his old armor for a mission to Crosshair's old Imperial base. The base has been abandoned and there is a massive ice worm. They got the info they needed and got out safely. Hunter and Crosshair work over their issues. Episode 6, Infiltration. A shadow clone assassin attempts to assassinate a former Republic senator and former Separatist senator meeting under Rex's protection, planning against the Empire. They take the shadow clone captive. Bad Batch join Rex at their base. The Empire sends a second shadow clone to eliminate the first one. The shadow clone kills the captured one and launches an attack, alerting the Empire to Omega's presence at the base. 2 troop ships have arrived to capture Omega. Episode 7, Extraction. After a skirmish with the Empire, Rex convinces Commander Wolf to let him, his survivors, and the Bad Batch go. Episode 8, Bad Territory. Hunter and Wrecker work a job with Fennec Shand to get info on why the Empire wants Omega for their testing. After fending off some gators, they capture their bounty. Fennec reports her mission to somebody. I don't even know if we ever figure out who that somebody was. Episode 9, The Harbinger. Asajj Ventress is apparently alive and tells the Bad Batch about midichlorians. She puts Omega through some tests. Hunter, Crosshair, and Wrecker try fighting her once they realize who she is. Omega gets them to stop fighting. I've got a few lives left, which is a quote from Ventress. And her yellow lightsabering self. She may be a Time Lord, as she did die in a book, but she was also buried on Dathomir in a pond or something like that, I think, where the Night Sisters get their powers, so maybe she got resurrected. Who knows, maybe at some point that will pop up in a novel somewhere. But the fact that she is alive was never explained. Episode 10, Identity Crisis. Cad Bane kidnaps a kid with a high M count. I don't know why we started calling midichlorians M count all of a sudden. There was no problem with saying midichlorians when Qui-Gon said it to Anakin in Episode 1. But we now say M count, and I don't really know why. Emery is now in charge and conflicted with how their child specimen are being treated. Cad Bane delivers the kid to Emery. Episode 11, Point of No Return. Omega is tracked to Pabu. The Empire invades. Wrecker is injured when their ship explodes. Omega turns herself in to save Pabu and to attempt to find the location of Tantus. I honestly thought that they were just going to destroy Pabu anyway, but they didn't, surprisingly. Crosshair missed the shot to track the ship Omega was taken away on. Episode 12, Juggernaut. Fee is helping the Bad Batch, currently Crosshair, Hunter, and Wrecker. They attack an Imperial labor camp. They break out Admiral Rampart and destroy some infrastructure. Rampart doesn't know the coordinates to Tantus, but says he knows a way around that. It was designed for no one to know the coordinates. Testing is going well. Now that Omega is back, she is shown the other children in the vault, and Omega is needed for, I'm guessing, cloning Force-sensitive individuals, and she is now being kept in the vault. Episode 13, Into the Breach. Echo joins the Bad Batch and Rampart, and Fee is no longer with them, to a base in orbit around Coruscant that should have the coordinates to Tantus. They are en route. Episode 14, Flash Strike. The Bad Batch arrive on Tantus. Rampart gets captured. Omega has come up with an escape plan of her own. Episode 15, The Cavalry has arrived. It's the finale of the season and the finale of the show in general, and it finishes how this whole thing started, with an extra double episode, basically, an hour-long adventure. Omega sets free a Zillo beast. Echo and Emery arrive at the vault and find out the kids have escaped. Hemlock has created a new Bad Batch. Crosshair, Hunter, and Wrecker are captured by that group. Emery and Echo find the kids, and Emery takes them off Tantus. Echo and Omega go back in to rescue the rest of Bad Batch. Crosshair's hand was cut off. Kind of rude. Omega and Echo set free the clone prisoners and arm them. Nala Se is also released, as well as Rampart. Tarkin is coming. Rampart kills Nala Se, who was holding a grenade, killing him and the lab and all of the research. Hunter and Crosshair kill Hemlock, saving Omega. Everyone gets on a shuttle and escapes Tantus just before Tarkin arrives with his fleet. The facility is closed and funds transferred to Project Stardust, which I think is the Death Star project. Everyone is safely on Pabu. It's a much happier ending than I was expecting for the Bad Batch. I honestly thought some people were going to have to die for this to make any sense and be a reason why they aren't around in the rebellion. But they just retire, basically, on Pabu, so fair enough. Years into the future, I'm guessing somewhere around 18 to 19 years, based on where we are in the timeline and when the rebellion really kicks off. But Omega is definitely an adult now, and leaves the Bad Batch on Pabu in their retirement to fight in the rebellion. Now, I enjoyed Season 3. It ended much smoother than I was expecting, like I've already said. But it was a fun show. It was a good cap to a good show. It was not enough to move it above Clone Wars, in my opinion. I think that first episode of the show, I think, was still my favorite episode. It was just so good. Seeing them go through Order 66 and everything. And then from there, it just kind of was, there was a lot of repetitiveness in it. The end of this season was all fresh and new, which was nice. I appreciate that. But it was definitely a show that I think I'm still putting Clone Wars above just this show. But I did enjoy it. And where we are in the timeline, it is currently the second show. Second best show, because we've only gotten to Clone Wars and Bad Batch. So looking forward to other shows coming out. We might have passed Tales of the Jedi based on timeline, actually, but that one's kind of wonky anyway. And Tales of the Empire is coming out, but that one's also just pretty short, I believe. Although you guys will actually know the answer right now, because Tales of the Empire is out now. I am rambling about things that are not Bad Batch Season 3, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below of Bad Batch as a whole, and this third and final season especially. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.